Welcome to the CRM Zen Show, where we talk about all things Zoho. This is episode 264 for Friday, August 18th, 2023. Kaizen Sose. From Zenatta Consulting, I'm Brett Martin.
And I'm Tyler Colt, and let's get right on into the show. Seems kind of fitting to do the Kevin Spacey movie. There was an episode of Azaz recently when you and Landon and Greg, Wayne and Greg, basically dove in on Spacey references for most of the episodes. Maybe a little bit of a callback here on the CRM Zen Show.
Yeah, we just have to keep going back to Kevin Spacey. He's coming back. That's what's happening. Hey, Freddie, shout out, man. I know it's been the second week in a row, but I'm loving that new intro. That is just really cool. That's I'd consider that intro like that's a Bad Boys. What that is, that intro. That's pretty. It's pretty cool.
Good golly, look at that bad boy.
Oh, yeah.
Things I deal with. Anything I say on this show gets spliced nowadays. So,
well, we're putting them together. We've taken the good golly and look at that.
Two different splices. That's the bird.
We're hoping we're going to start collecting them. We could have a 5-minute reel by the end of the year. I don't know. All right, well, with that, we got a big show for you, so let us get right on into it and check on announcements and events. As always, if you head over to Club Zenatta, which is our online community for all things Zoho, just like the CRM Zen Show is all things Zoho, Club Z is all things Zoho. And we have a general discussion. We have our code share, things we've noticed, questions for our Ask Zenatta Anything About Zoho show called Azaz. We also keep track of all of the events going on in the world of Zoho, not just ones that we're doing, but ones that Zoho is doing as well. Zoho has quite a few coming up. On August 18th, you've got a focus group today, a focus group webinar on their brand new field service management product tour. We're going to talk about that in a little bit here. And Zoho Sales IQ, you got a Zoho user group going on about that. Those are August 21st through September 27th. They're ongoing. For us, we actually completed our webinars for this month, but we are going to be doing a long overdue Zoho Sales IQ full product overview. Last time we did that, Tyler, was 2020. So I would say
that we used a lot, and it's had a lot of updates since then. We've made a video here and there on it, but I'm kind of surprised we've let that one languish since 2020s. And back then, we weren't very good at making webinars, so there should be a pretty big improvement compared to a 2020 webinar.
Is that we got a comment this morning from someone who watched the 2020 Sales IQ webinar, and they basically were saying, this is the best thing ever. We're going to have to reply, well, check out the next one. So,
yeah, if you think that was good.
I can't imagine how bad that was, really, at the time.
Yeah,
anyway,
all the functionality
please head on over to Club Zenatta and check out everything we've got going on over there. And with that, let's get right on into the news. Well, Tyler, we talked about it. So Zoho Field Service Management has now dropped. They're excited to introduce it. They introduced it in 2019 at Zoholics. I think it came out
on into open beta and then back out of open beta and into open beta and out of open beta. But now it is finally hitting the market, right? Kind of full release here for FSM.
Now it is here. So we are going to have to do a deep dive. We've kind of avoided doing anything looking at this app because it had been so problematic, but now they feel it is absolutely ready. So we're going to have to take a look and dive in. Have we had any time to play with this yet since the new release came out?
No, I know Josh had played with it a little while back in the last beta. Thought it was pretty cool, right? But at that time, it didn't have CRM or books integrations, which are pretty core parts of, what people are going to need this for. For those who aren't familiar with FSM, this is everything around field service management, right? So you need to provide services on site for, IT, electric, anything that requires a person, a truck, some parts, and some labor can essentially be managed here through Zoho FSM. Now, important to know, this is not going to be included with Zoho One. And initially you may say, oh, that stinks. No, it's actually better that it's not, because the way that most people are running FSM teams is that a lot of them are going to be contractors, and they're not going to need access to most apps that are in Zoho One. So they are keeping it separate so that you don't have to have a Zoho One license for every single one of those contractors. So I'm sure there'll be a small handful of people that this pricing is worse for, but for the vast majority, it's actually kind of nice that this isn't in Zoho One, just because some companies, as you know, Brett, have 100+ contractors out in the field, and they really don't want to pony up Zoho One licenses for all of them, right? Just to be able to use the FSM app. So
totally
good
agree.
call there by Zoho to keep it out and price it differently. I think it's going to be, the interesting thing is that it's appointment-based pricing plan. So the pricing plan is actually not based on, it sounds like, the number of users, but the number of appointments that you're using. Looks like some site go down. There we go. We're back.
You get the www.
Yeah, it's just kill the www there on their link.
I did. I kind of trying to go look at the pricing here. So just straight up FSM.
Zoho.com.
It's so popular. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so they need to fix their link.
Actually, don't trust the link.
Price. Is this going to give me pricing?
Say directly in the article, but it is appointment based.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see kind of how that is going to end up working. So I guess if you had
most people really don't like that kind of stuff, you know. I mean, everybody I talk to, they really, really, really are into, knowing fixed price.
Not like you're going to pay.
What it's going to cost them. Okay, so this is 60 appointments. Cost
it's
you
unlimited
25.
Users.
Interesting.
So yeah, baseline price yearly would be $25 a month for 60 appointments per month. So yeah, I guess you'd really just have to think about, when it comes to pricing, how many users do you have and how many average appointments per week do you need to be able to do, right? And then you kind of back into your pricing. Hopefully that is very easy to change on the fly, right? If you normally pay for 60 and you have 62 for a month, obviously you're going to need to be able to adjust that. But yeah, interesting strategy there on the pricing. Some would say it would make more sense to just have a price per user, assuming that each user is going to do some average amount of appointments. I don't know if it costs Zoho more per appointment on their end. I mean, obviously it does on storage, but kind of interesting. But nonetheless, there's an application that there's a lot of demand for this in Zoho's ecosystem. So be interesting, as we say a lot of the times when a new app comes out, there might be an odd or an end that isn't quite fleshed out fully, right, on the functionality. But I know that I'd be surprised if Zoho doesn't put a lot of effort into this one, because we hear it all the time from prospects and customers, the kind of need for a good FSM tool.
Say the pricing's nice. I mean, honestly, I don't think it's horrible at all. I mean, you're paying for it annually this way. I mean, if you pay monthly, but I mean, if you're a small shop, running, 10 appointments a week, this is going to perfectly work fine for you, right? For $30 a month, pretty cheap, unlimited users. Their biggest competitor out there is Zuper, who completely integrates with Zoho exceptionally well and is an amazing FSM app, but is very expensive at the end of the day when you start adding it all up and putting everybody in. So, or at least that's the feedback I'm getting from a lot of people, but it is a great app. So, interesting. Very, very good. So there we go, Zoho. And so the integration part too, I think I want to touch base on this again. They did roll it out without integrations, but now, like you said, you've got books, invoice, inventory, CRM, and REST APIs. Yeah, so you should be good to be able
to get it to work how you need it. There are a couple things with the books integration. It kind of integrates on an invoice level. I'd like to see it tie into the estimate sales order process a little tighter, because you really do want to have a sales order for any future work order that's already planned. But at the end of the day, right, you've got custom functions, you've got REST API. So if you need a little tweak to how that integration works, you can always build it, right? I'm sure based on feedback and usage, they'll continue to update and improve those.
It's
But
just
yeah,
funny because, like you had mentioned, they
yeah,
came out and there was none of this integration here. It's you see this occasionally. It's just a strange thing. Like when Zoho Voice was first released, it wasn't even part of PhoneBridge. It didn't integrate with anything. You're like, I don't even understand. So anyway,
cool.
nice job, guys. We'll play around with this. I hope you have a winner here because there definitely is a big, big, big need for it. All right, and moving right along, we've got some new features rolled out for Zoho Analytics. Tyler, this is your baby. Klaviyo, which is like what, MailChimp? And
It's a email marketing tool, a little more
HubSpot.
targeted at like sales. Yeah, a little more HubSpot style than MailChimp style. Actually, really good tool. I've played around with it before. So that now has a connector for analytics. That's great. The more the merrier. You can now have forecast values in your widgets. These are like the little call outs that you can make on your dashboards. Cool. I almost never use forecasting and analytics. It kind of seems random where it's going to say your numbers are going to go. So I've not found a huge amount of value, but if you have, you can now put it there. Geo-visualization gets an update as well. This is actually a really nice one for smaller businesses. So geo reporting, you've got all your accounts, you want to put them on the map. You've got your contractors, you want to put them on the map, right? And see where they all are. What it was doing before is that it would essentially always default to look at the entirety of the US, right? And so let's say maybe you're doing field service management and you're just in one state, right? You're just in New Jersey, right? New York is the example they have here. Every time you open the map, it shows the entirety of the US and you have to zoom in, right? So this is basically saying, hey, if you only work in certain places, the map will kind of start you zoomed in on those places. Nice to have, right? I mean, lots of Zoho customers may not be global, right, or across the entirety of the US. And so it just makes those a little bit easier to use. A couple others, Insight, Zia Insights on Legends. Another thing in here, essentially, if you're watching us on YouTube, when you're looking at a certain chart, you can click the Insights button, which pops open a tab where it kind of says, hey, this type of sale is trending up. This one's trending down. Now, if you update that view using the legend, you kind of say, hey, remove this category, removes it from the summary as well. Lots of updates here showing missing values in charts. This is, it's actually surprisingly nice to have, specifically for heat maps. Zoho does weird things with empty data, and this lets you have it not do those weird things. For those who use analytics a lot, you know what I'm talking about. Other than that, nothing too major here. Commenting in the mobile app, short, why not? Couple improvements at GPT, but nothing crazy for analytics this go around.
All right, nice job, analytics team. And moving on with the news. So Zia has an integration with OpenAI for Zoho CRM. This announcement came out 5 days ago. Tyler and I can't figure out what's different, or maybe just because we've built it in for so long, we don't know what's going on here. But I guess it's official. You can now just, have a smart prompt in Zoho CRM. You basically can launch OpenAI, ChatGPT, for those of you who don't know what it is. Basically, if you've been hiding under a rock, you can now access it directly from within the CRM and let our AI overlords start doing your work for you. So.
Yeah, and some of these are cool, right? So like the pre-built actions, you can have it pull you a summary of an account. I would say that one is not so cool. It doesn't really work very well. You ask it things. If your CRM doesn't already know it, it's not going to figure it out for you. It'll kind of like, there are prompts like, hey, tell me the industry of this account. And it's like, well, I don't know. I'm an AI model. Where it is pretty cool is in rewriting email templates and notes. So if you had like a note and you just took a dump of text like I am prone to do, I just type. You can say, hey, organize this for me, make it legible for other humans. Also can rewrite some emails with different tone and things like that. So those functionalities I think are really cool, like the rewriting of text that I've written. Some of the summary stuff is not super feature complete, but, gets better and better over time.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily Zoho at this point in time, because it's just
not
ChatGPT.
Zoho's fault. Yeah, OpenAI doesn't know anything about every company, right, that you might ask it questions for.
Yep. Yeah. So, all right, cool, excellent. And moving right along with the news, You now have a profile-based homepage sharing of multiple homepages, and then we'll throw in here and copy customization for dashboards in the CRM. But let's talk about the you flag. This is a major update for Zoho CRM. This is what we're talking about here. Is in CRM you have dashboards. That's your homepage. It's what you see when you go into your homepage. And prior to 6 hours ago, it was extremely limited. So we went from 1 to 10. Is that correct?
Yes, essentially previously, a homepage is a mix of dashboard elements and like custom views and lists. And the way it worked is you could assign one custom homepage per role. That's nice, but a lot of companies might have cross-functional employees that might benefit from having more than one. So now you can assign them 5 based on the role and 5 based on the profile, so a total of 10. So they have multiplied the number of homepages by 10. Which is huge. I mean, even for someone like, a Zenatta consultant, right? They do things that are, maybe they need to be in renewals mode, right? And then a different time they need to be in task mode, right? So you could give them different homepages to accomplish that. So yeah, pretty major update there on the way that you can kind of customize that landing page for users.
Very cool. And then the very last part of this dashboard update is that dashboards will now copy over when you do a copy customization. So it's a little used feature really in Zoho CRM, but it is what it allows you to do is you have a CRM, it's completely built out, certain things in it. So the layouts, and I think most of the workflows are going to come over and all that. You basically can push a button and copy that CRM to a brand new CRM. It won't have any data in it, but the entire setup will be copied over. Historically, I'd say you get about 80% of the stuff comes over. You kind of got to manually build out.
What's the messy process? Assuming you don't have any marketplace extensions installed, about 80%.
Right. So this is just kind of helping that along, getting a little further. And we do see this occasionally. I mean, we'll have someone who we've built out an entire CRM for, and they're loving it, and they're having, a cocktail with a friend of theirs who's in the same exact business, and they're friendly competitors, and the guy's like, dude, I got it perfect. You can have it. You can have my entire setup. And, they authorize us to, and we just make a full copy for their friend, and now their friend's off to the races and has saved thousands of dollars because the whole build out's been done and, all of that. So fairly nice. All righty. And the title of the show is our next story, Kaizen Soshi. So basically, Zoho has a series of articles in the developer group. They call them their Kaizen, which I had forgotten what that meant, but you would reinform me. It's continuous improvement, a process of continuous improvement. So anyway, they've just done their 100th post, or they're coming up on their 100th post in the Kaizen series. And so normally we wouldn't cover it, but it made for a great show title. So, we got to tie Kevin Spacey back into it, so why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, these are nice little posts. I like them. They're oftentimes little workarounds, custom functions that you can plug in to solve common problems or kind of improvements.
Yeah, there you go. Is there more to say on this, or can we kind of tap this one out?
Yeah, I think we tapped that one out.
Yeah. Alrighty. Moving right along.
Print out your Spacey reference there? Or did I miss a Spacey reference?
What was that? Or, I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, I was kind of hoping Freddie had something up his sleeve. I was waiting for a button press. But anyway, so, hey, and then moving on, wrapping up the news. The latest updates for Zoho Meeting. You now have a new Files tab. This is interesting. We were talking about this before. So you can now look at my recordings and files. So this is kind of old school process. You don't see this much anymore, where you would actually upload your assets ahead of time, because Zoho Meeting is like Zoho Webinar. And, you would kind of upload those things for webinars. You rarely see it for meetings, but oftentimes you pre-upload the assets and then you can just present them. So one person can control their You don't have to, the screen sharing doesn't really necessarily work that way. So I can see this for webinars that you might want to have this and have this data uploaded. But I guess previously there was no place to look at all your recordings in one spot, or all your files that you'd uploaded. So now you got them. Good stuff.
Very nice. Yeah. Not something I think we were kind of joking around before the show. I mean, most people nowadays for a meeting are just going to screen share. But the one nice thing about this, though, is you can allow them to download more easily. So if you knew, like, let's say you had a deck, right? And you're doing, I don't know, an investor pitch over Zoom, which is probably uncommon, but maybe that's what you're doing. It's where my mind went. You could say, hey, if you want to download this, or like, hey, here's my slide deck. I've also uploaded my financials. And I'm not going to screen share those and go through them, but if you want to download them, there they are. You got them. So never hurts. We were poking around. Zoom doesn't do this, right? You kind of checked around, and it doesn't look like this is an option in Zoom.
I imagine Zoom webinar does.
Yeah,
that's kind
not
of
going up in the win column. Zoho. Yeah,
huh?
I said not going up in the win column for Zoho on that one. They've got a feature that Zoom doesn't.
Four regular meetings and all that. Yeah, so pretty interesting. I tell you, the one that reminds me of Zoho used to have a product called Showtime, which kind of disappeared and ended up being Trainer Central. But boy, Showtime was a great little app.
So good.
So good. I wish it came back. I wish it was back. That was one of the better apps that for this, but it went away during the whole COVID deal. And now they've got lock settings. So if you're an admin, you can lock certain settings for the organization, which is probably pretty important. So Zoho Meeting continues to churn along. I will tell you, Zoho Meeting, the only thing is you just need bandwidth, baby. So we need more data centers, or someone at Zoho needs to say, you know what, for all of our audio and video products, our high bandwidth products, we're going to bite the bullet and we're going to buy some space over on AWS or Azure or Google Cloud. I don't care. Someone who can turn it up to 11. And then I think that fixes 90% of their problems.
Yeah.
And with that wraps up the news, and let's get to the implementation of the week.
Alrighty, so implementation this week is centered around automated file management as a component of the CRM cases workflow. So this is one that myself and Hector Gonzalez, one of our developers, built out here recently for one of our clients. And in this case, we're working with the CRM cases module. So a lot of the times we'll be doing this type of workflow from something like Zoho Desk with tickets. In this case, these cases represent specific services or requests placed to our client, right? Might be service for a machine that's on site. Maybe they need a refill of a certain material, right? It's basically anything that is inbound, right? Runs into this cases module. Now, sometimes if it is a service request, those submissions, which are done with a Zoho form, may include a video or photo attachment, mostly photos. Videos are pretty rare. That are provided by the client kind of to help describe the issue that's being faced. And using the default Zoho Forms integration, those attachments land on the related list on that case, just as files themselves. Challenge is, this is a client that's already using Zoho WorkDrive. And for those who have gone down the rabbit hole of using the CRM storage, you'll come to find that when you need to add additional storage, the price is not right. It is a lot. It's more expensive than you would expect to pay for kind of incremental storage amounts. Whereas over in WorkDrive, you got terabytes of space, right? And you can load pretty much anything that you need there. So essentially what we did, set up a custom function that runs a short delay after the case is created. This function will grab a WorkDrive folder URL from the related account to that case. For this client, each of their clients essentially gets a folder automatically where all future documentation is going to land. When this function finds that particular folder, it will create a subfolder within it specific for that case, and then load all of the files into that folder. Last but not least, it brings links to that folder and file back to the case record for easy access. And it deletes the CRM attachments. And you really do want to delete them because, again, you do not want to have to pay for the CRM storage. Just a real bad deal, especially if you're already using WorkDrive. There's really just no reason to pay for it. So Nice implementation. We've done a lot of things in this vein. I think a couple months back, we had talked through a migration that we did, basically with a scheduled function running through a similar type of flow. But this is a nice way to just keep it that way, right? So that your, CRM file storage never really goes up, because anything that lands as an attachment just gets copied over to WorkDrive to be stored for a much better price.
It's a very, very cool implementation. Actually, Greg had done something similar for me, a whole little separate project that I had, which was, basically it's identical. It's just in CRM. The file storage is ridiculous, but it's very cool how you can attach it, like on mobile. You can just attach an image, take a picture of something, attach an image directly into the CRM. The function immediately runs, puts it in WorkDrive, gets the URL, puts the URL in there, deletes the file. It's just beautiful. I mean, it's just really, really well done. And that's actually the functionality we're using for people who want to push images to like WordPress. So, you basically have to go through this entire step to get that URL and save the image, and then you can go ahead and push it up to WordPress. So cool stuff. I love it. I like it. We could probably write a function, because I was talking the other day, there's that really cool new feature that's been added. And by the way, I didn't see the add to WorkDrive function. So if you're in the CRM, got an attachment.
Maybe mine though. Yeah.
I don't know. If you're in the CRM and you've got an attachment, you basically can, add it to the CRM to attachments.
And it's an attachment like from an email, right? A client sends you an email. Hey, here's my flow chart.
Yeah.
Right. You're in CRM, and you can just add that attachment natively.
Yeah, I'm going to just verify that real quick while we're chatting here. So, you've got the, of course, I didn't pick one with an attachment. I thought I did. But you'll see the attachment, and you can just go ahead and add it to attachments.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but this would be interesting. If you can't add it to WorkDrive, which I thought you couldn't, it'd be interesting to have that function run. Hey, it's every time an attachment is added, just put it in their WorkDrive folder.
Tricky. Yeah, the only tricky part is you can't trigger a workflow on an attachment being added. Put that in the Zoho if you're listening column. So we're able to get away with it here because we're running it after the case is created. Right. So as long as you've got a different trigger, right? Like you add it there and then press a button or, update something, and it will trigger, writing that attachment over.
Interesting. Anyway, great job, Hector. Tyler, that guy is good stuff. And with that, let's head over to back to Club Z and see what our code share of the week is. Well, this is shocking. It's coming from this guy, Greg Belknap. Anyways, updating deal with CallRail's data. It's funny, I haven't heard of CallRail in a very, very long time. Like you said, it's call tracking metrics. This is basically every single thing, every phone call, the data on it, where it came from. Very valuable for people that have got dozens of phone numbers out there for marketing purposes, and they want to track all of those inbounds and all those kind of things. And so especially if you're in a deal and you've got all this, you kind of want to know what's going on, where these leads are coming from, where the calls are coming from. So Greg here has tapped into the CallRail API and basically is able to write this data back into the CRM.
Yeah, it looks like they're kind of using analytics as an intermediate. So like CallRail, based on certain activity on their side, are posting webhooks to Flow. Those webhooks get caught, and then we are creating our own custom data set in analytics using the CallRail data. And then what is shown here in the code share is a scheduled function to essentially update relevant CRM records based on the CallRail data. So this is actually super, super nice. The whole thing with CallRail is it's, you're paying for Google ads. They click through, they call a phone number on the website. And now natively or normally your attribution's just dead, right? Like now you don't know what ad they clicked. You don't know where they came from. CallRail will actually capture that data for you. And this is just a way to make sure that it ends up landing in CRM where you really want it.
Yeah. Good stuff. It really is. So we have, we have used analytics quite a bit as this little intermediary, right? I mean, this is something came up
data
with a few
management.
years ago. Like, oh,
Yeah.
wow, let's use analytics to kind of facilitate some syncing that, we're just unable to get done.
It helps a lot. It opens a lot of doors. It's really nice too if we're working with a client and like, let's say they have a third-party platform that they want Zoho data to end up in, rather than having them have to hit the CRM API. Because if you think about it, it's like you'd have to get accounts, then get contacts, then get deals. We can create a custom data set in analytics that's like one table with everything they need, right? And they can just make one simple call and get all of it. So yeah, we're just finding there's a lot of use cases where it's kind of a cheat code, right? Like to solve for something complicated, it's like, well, if we can get it into analytics, then we can do whatever we want from there. So yeah, it's becoming a nice little tool for that use case.
Very groovy. All right, and moving on, let's head over to Zenatta.com and see what we've got. Hey, Tyler. You and I sat down this week and recorded a telephony solutions for Zoho webinar. We have never, had we done one in the past? We've done kind of little snippets all over the place, but never one that kind of
we had done maybe a Ring Central focused one a long time ago. Maybe we did, but that was before all of the updates to Phone Bridge that we kind of showed here. So yeah, it's definitely been a long time.
Yeah, so it's it was a lot of fun doing this. Actually, it was kind of enjoyable to go through it and look at some of the stuff that's changed. And at some point I was like, "Hey, where's here?" Oh no, Brett, that got moved. So we kept kind of going through that. But it was, we did a full telephony overview. Then I walked through the whole Phone Bridge walkthrough and basically installing your telephony service into CRM. Then we simulated a phone call. We kind of cover everything. We do even touch on SMS a little bit at the very end and all of what your various options are there. So if you want to watch that video, it's over on our YouTube channel, 29 minutes and 14 seconds. Or Wayne has put together a little nice write-up kind of summarizing everything we talked about and key features, how it all works. So you can go ahead and take a look at this. I think this is ChatGPT gone really well here, which is you take the entire transcript of our show and you run it through and you do this, and it comes up pretty nice, I got to say. I kind of liking it. So anyway, we've gotten a lot of people watching this and commenting on this already. I think for a webinar that's just been out there for a day or two, it's really got some significant traction. So we're glad you guys are liking it, and you might want to check that out. And as always, if you are on Zenatta.com, you can check out our blog, and our blog is where we kind of have everything that is that you'd want to see. Every week, we try to cover things that are of interest in the world of Zoho. And check out our blog. That's also where all of these shows, the CRM Zen Show, every single one of them, they're cataloged, they're archived, they're here, including, look, our little anniversary show with the balloons and the cake on it from episode 261. Anyway, we appreciate all your support, and head over to Zenatta.com and you can check out our resource library, all of our old shows, Zaz, it's all there. And with that, let's head over to our tip of the week. All right. Well, Josh has done a tip, another creator tip, which is understanding lookup fields in Zoho Creator. A lot of people are already pretty excited about this, and I'm seeing some great comments on it. So what is it about? What do you need to understand about lookup fields in Zoho Creator?
So I think a couple different things. At the core level, we're kind of trying to catch up on, we feel we've kind of underserved our viewers a little on the Zoho Creator side of the house. We use it a ton internally, but it doesn't get featured in as many of our videos. So yeah, this is kind of a foundational walkthrough of lookup fields, right? Like, when do you use them? Why do you use them? The different types of lookups and ways to interact. And it's kind of a structural walkthrough, right, on how to make sure that your data is connected properly to wherever that you need it. So yeah, I do want to invite any of our kind of viewers that are into Creator, find a video like this, leave some comments, let us know the types of videos you want us to create. especially when it comes to creator, because we really want to make sure that we've got you covered. But it is such a big app, we don't always know where to start when it comes to making content for it. So feel free, leave the comments, let us know. We really want to make sure that we get caught up a little bit on providing this information for you guys.
Yeah, I think for the hardcore Zoho guys out there, Josh's series on Creator and Greg's series on Deluge people are just like, oh my gosh, they're dying for this. It's been a big hit. So thank you for your support. We will keep putting these out there as long as you guys continue
Shout
to
out
enjoy
to Josh for a great video and a great mustache.
So I was going to leave it alone. But,
well, it was there, and then it was gone. It was gone for a little while, and now it is back. So I feel like I have to comment on it again.
It is, yeah. I think he's thinking about another career as a fireman, is what I understand. So it's kind of what's going on there.
Lots of different careers that go with that mustache, huh?
Hey, so anyway, if you head over to youtube.com/Zenatta, that is where we have all of our videos, and we would love for you to stop by. You will hopefully find something that will help you in your Zoho journey. We produce more content than anybody on Zoho, including Zoho. So you might want to just come on in and check out our YouTube channel, and hopefully you will find it useful. And while you're there, go ahead and subscribe, like a few videos if you like them. That would just make us happy. All right, Tyler, that's it. Another show in the books.
Another show. Another week, another show.
What are you doing this weekend?
I don't know. Might be headed out to Rocky Mountains, depending on how hot it is. Kind of tentatively the plan for Saturday. We live pretty close, so it's easy to zip out, but it is... So on track to be about 90 today, so we'll see. Not the best hiking weather unless you get out there real early. How about you?
This is the week we got hot in California, in Southern California. So we have had, where the rest of everybody's been baking and screaming and yelling, we've been in the 70s here, on the coast anyway, right? It's been kind of nice, and we got in the 80s and 90s finally on the coast here. So it's, if you talk to people down in your old neck of the woods, like down in San Diego, especially in the whole like Carlsbad area and that Del Mar and all that, they haven't had sun all summer long, man. It's just been socked in with June gloom. They had May gloom, June, July. It's just been going and going and going. So anyway, everybody out there, we hope you have a great weekend. And if you would like to get in touch with us over here at Zenatta.com, please just head to our website, Zenatta.com, and click on Book a Meeting. We'd be happy to chat with you.
On the website is where you'll find complete episodes of the show, as well as links to all the stories we discussed today. We would love and appreciate if you would like and subscribe on YouTube, as well as your choice of podcast app. We'll see you next Friday.
Take care, everybody.